Hi everyone, today we will be taking a look at the New Hampshire primary results that we just got in the past 24 hours. Okay, and then we'll be comparing it to my predictions of what I thought would happen in the state, and then also taking a look at here the results and taking a look at how Trump did very briefly as well. But yeah, firstly, this is just CNN. This is Bernie Sanders being the winner here in New Hampshire. Take a look at this.
All right, CNN has a major projection right now. CNN projects that Bernie Sanders will win the New Hampshire Democratic presidential. This is
Right, so there you go. Bernie Sanders starting to crack up a little bit there. But
from Bernie Sanders, CNN's projection based on the actual votes, based on exit poll information. Let's go over to Jake and Dana. This is a major.
Right, so Bernie Sanders winning in New Hampshire. Take a look at this. This is the actual result here. And as you can see here, the light blue here is Bernie Sanders, and I really don't like this map, but he was able to sort of do quite well in some of these bigger towns, sort of less college educated towns. He was able to rack up the vote in the college towns, but then if you go actually up north, for example here, Pittsburgh County, Buttigieg and Klobuchar doing quite well there. And then up in the north, yes, there is some Sanders area, but a lot of it in this middle part of the state was Buttigieg and Klobuchar area, and also in this part near Manchester. But you can see that the main part, if I can find it in this terrible map, the main part, Kingston, Bernie Sanders winning in Kingston there, but that really isn't many votes. I mean, if you take a look, really, he was able to do quite well. If you take a look at this exit polling, Sanders doing a bit better with male voters than female voters. In terms of race, Sanders does very well with Hispanics. He leads with Hispanics. And then Asian and other and African American were not really applicable. In terms of race, Bernie Sanders doing better with non-white voters as compared to white voters. Age, obviously, Sanders doing the best among 18 to 29. Then if you take a look at 30 to 44, he does still doing the best there in the field, but slightly less good. Followed by here, if you take a look here, 27% for Buttigieg. You can see Sanders' support drops off here. Buttigieg's support roughly stays the same, and Klobuchar does much better with the older crowd. And then if you take a look here, just two groups in terms of age, obviously Sanders doing better with the young folks, Buttigieg doing better with the older folks. Education. In terms of education, Buttigieg support roughly even in terms of the education levels of his supporters. Sanders doing better with those who don't have as much education. And then again shown here, college graduate 25% support for Klobuchar, no college graduate 31% for Sanders. Buttigieg remaining consistent. Party registration, Sanders doing best, both of those groups. Everyone's sort of continuing, except, I mean, really the standout here, Tulsi Gabbard, doing much better with independents than with Democrats' ideology. This is pretty obvious. Bernie doing the best with somewhat liberal and very liberal. And then if you break it down like this, Bernie obviously doing the best, and also like this. Bernie doing better with less salary people. Again, shown like that and that. If you take a look here, Buttigieg there wasn't really enough people to actually do this, which is pretty annoying. But Sanders doing slightly better with union households than non-union households. Sanders doing better with those who have not served in the US military. And obviously, I mean, it should be pretty obvious. Sanders not doing a much. Sanders supporters not as religious. In terms of 2016 vote, 74% voted for Clinton, 8% voted for Trump, 11% someone else, and 6% did not vote. So Sanders doing the best out of those who voted for someone else. Sanders obviously doing the best with his supporters, but Amy Klobuchar doing the best with Klobuchar supporters. Right, and you can continue going through all of those numbers, but yeah, so it was very interesting. I think Sanders did probably slightly underperform where he was kind of expected to do. He probably would have preferred to have a bit more distance between him and Buttigieg, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, and he got that win. Something to note: Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, complete and utter collapse of their campaigns. If you take a look here, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, 27,000 votes to Sanders, 76. Sanders blowing away the Massachusetts senator and also the former vice president, former front runner there, Joe Biden. 2020 election news, that's just CNN. And then those are just stuff about all of the delegates. But that's it for today's video, guys. If you take a look at the polling data, Sanders was leading by more than people expected, right? Sanders was at 29. He ended up getting, I think, 25, 28. He ended up getting 25, 29. He ended up getting 25. Buttigieg, I think, did maybe a bit better. He got 22, 21, 25. That averages around 222 or so. He ended up doing 24. Biden, oh goodness me, Biden underperformed. That's an average of about 12%, and he ended up getting 8%, so underperforming his polls by about third of what he was meant to do. And then same thing with Warren. Klobuchar, 7%, 6%, 10%, that averages around to 7.5%. She massively outperformed her polls. She got 19.9%, almost 20% in New Hampshire. Very impressive stuff there by Amy Klobuchar. Tulsi Gabbard, 5, 5, and 2. That averages out to around 4. And in the end, she ended up getting 3.3, so underperforming her polls by a bit. Tom Steyer, I believe, overperformed. Yeah, he actually did overperform 1.2%, and Steyer ended up getting 3.6%. So that's quite impressive there for Tom Steyer. Not really, but he's really banking on South Carolina. But Sanders, a win is a win. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.